A historic moment.
Delegados a la conferencia han dado su respaldo unánime al acuerdo final de La Habana, reafirmando.
With these words by the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia's Iván Márquez, the FARC announced it had approved the deal with the government, taking Colombia a step closer to ending one of the world's longest-running civil wars. Over 200 delegates of the FARC voted to lay down their arms and transition from an armed insurgency to a political party at the group's 10th General Conference.
Como se hizo la primera conferencia de la FARC, donde se aprueba coger las armas y hacerle, así mismo estamos haciendo la 10ª conferencia, que es la que estamos diciendo vamos a hacer de acción de armas y vamos a irnos a la vía política. Quiere decir que eso quedaría imborrable en la historia.
We first met the legendary guerrilla fighter known as Kunta Kinte in a jungle camp a year ago. At that time, the FARC and the government were still negotiating. The rebels were abiding by a unilateral ceasefire, but the government soldiers were still clashing with the rebels. Kinte was armed and ready for any confrontation. Now, a year later, he's supporting the peace process. The next step is for the FARC to enter into protected areas which will be verified by the United Nations and begin the process of disarming. The vote caps off a week of parties and concerts, reflecting a sense of optimism among guerrillas that peace is near. Over 1,000 guests and journalists mingled with more than 1,000 guerrillas. FARC guerrillas say they're looking forward to leaving the jungles, their home for the past 52 years. Yuli and Edison are like any other young couple in love, except they're leftist guerrillas in the FARC. Like thousands of other guerrillas, they hope a peace process with the government will bring their war to an end.
Ya se acaba el conflicto, ya lo entre matando entre nosotros mismos, entre colombianos, ¿no? Porque aquí no, entre mismos campesinos, gente pobre, porque aquí somos puros pobres los que estamos.
They've been together for 5 months. Relationships like these are common in the FARC. 40% of the fighters are women. They dream of starting a new life after the war. He wants to be an engineer or a doctor.
Pues mis anhelos es estudiar Derecho y si no puedo, entonces estudiar, o sea, ser comunicadora social.
The war brought them together. It ripped Anselmo Peraham's family apart. He says his daughter Luz Adriana joined the FARC 7 years ago. Since then, he's heard nothing.
Entonces vine a ver y me acaban de decir que probablemente no tengo perdido todo. Entonces,
he's come to the FARC's conference to look for her. He thanks the peace process for a chance to try to find his daughter.
Creo que con la bendición de este proceso de paz, esto es una bendición.
When he finds her, he plans on making up for lost time.
Pues la queremos mucho, necesitamos verla y hablar con ella. Nomás le respetamos las decisiones de ella.
To every guerrilla, he shows the photo of his Luz Adriana and asks the same question. Have you seen my daughter? So far, the answer is always no. Anselmo keeps looking. Back in the camp, the young couple hope that they can have a baby, an impossible dream when they were in daily combat with the army.
Porque no hemos podido porque el conflicto del otro no ha dejado, ¿no?
Hopes of love and babies, all born out of the end of the war in Colombia. The FARC insists that even as it lays down its weapons, it's not giving up on its goal of taking power and turning Colombia into a Marxist-Leninist state. I sat down with the guerrilla known as Iván Márquez, considered the FARC's second in command.
Para poder luchar también por llegar al gobierno.
To get a clearer idea of what the FARC as a political party will look like, I spoke with the guerrilla known as Alexandra Nariño. She started by explaining how a Dutch woman came to join the FARC.
When I came to Colombia for the first time, I saw the social injustice. I saw people living on the streets. I saw very rich people, very poor people, but I also saw a guerrilla on the countryside fighting for a cause.
What can you tell us about the FARC as a political party?
We want a wide, open, united party or movement. We are convinced that the left in Colombia needs unity. When you go to FARC camps, when you go to those areas, you can also see that we do have work with the population. We do have a long construction of mass organizations. In the FARC, we have always said that we don't like to take some model, for example, Russia, for example, Cuba, Venezuela. There are many things we like about, for example, about Cuba. I like the fact, for example, that in Cuba you don't see people living on the streets, families like in Colombia. I like the fact that in Cuba everybody has education, for example. In Venezuela, there are also things that I like, but I think that every country is special. Every country has its own history.
What will you do in the future?
Whatever Colombia needs to do. I mean, I didn't come to Colombia to make war. I came to Colombia to help building a better society.
The FARC's biggest worry is that the government will not hold up its end of the bargain and will not take down the guerrillas' old foes, the illegal far-right paramilitaries. The guerrillas say that they are ready for the ups and downs of the peace process, downs that could mean the murder of various demobilized guerrillas.
Que sabemos que van a haber altos y bajos, los van a haber, pero las ganas pueden más, y la gana es la paz tendrá que ganar, porque de pronto un loco por ahí le pegue un balazo a otro, bueno, eso se puede dar, pero no podemos caer en la tentación de que porque sucedió un caso aislado nos vamos a tirar la paz de los colombianos. No, nosotros tenemos que luchar y seguir luchando por la paz de Colombia.
But they warn that if the political violence is unrestrained, as it was in the 1990s, when 5,000 members of a left-wing political party were murdered, the FARC would have to return to the jungles.
Ah, no, ahí sí ya no habría nada. Si se viene como el genocidio de la Unión Patriótica, así ya no es la FARC, es el pueblo el que tiene que preguntar y tienen que responderle qué es lo que está pasando. Eso ya es un problema del pueblo.
¿Qué harían ustedes?
Tienes que exigir. Bueno, nosotros qué hemos de hacer, pues organizarnos otra vez, organizarnos en armas, porque qué más.
The war dragged on for half a century. The peace process lasted nearly 4 years. Now an equally long job begins, to build a new Colombia where old enemies can live side by side in peace.